I was 10 years old and living in a hotel that used to be something else. The kind of place that still had velvet wallpaper and cracked chandeliers, but no concierge. We stayed on one of the upper floors of the Alexander Hamilton Hotel, a long-stay building downtown with broken elevators, tenants who stayed for years, and a movie theater pressed up right beside it like a leftover thought. The Fabian Theater. You could smell the sticky floors before the doors opened. The popcorn was stale, the rats were fast, and people didn't always come there to watch a movie. They came to drink, to disappear, to have sex in the back rows. But I loved that place. It was the one room where I could escape without leaving. My mother used to drop me off with a bunch of candy, a soda, a box of popcorn so heavy I had to hold it with both hands. "I'll be back in a little bit," she'd say. Then she'd vanish into the night to do what she needed to do. Sometimes I watched the same movie twice. Sometimes I wandered through other rooms. No one ever cared. That theater became mine. I knew every stairwell and hallway, every exit, every trick of the light. I watched the screens, but I watched the crowd more. And I watched horror films the way other kids studied math. One night she left me to see Alligator. It was playing in theater too, I think. I stayed through the whole thing. A mutated sewer reptile eating people in New York didn't do much for me, even at 10. I was getting bored. But I'd seen a poster earlier that day. Jamie Lee Curtis in a conductor's hat, standing in front of a train. "I want to see that next time," I told my mother. "We'll watch it together," she said, "but not tonight." She never came back in time to stop me. I slipped into Theatre 5, found my favourite seat in the middle row, centre aisle. When the screen lit up, I was alone. I liked it that way. I always liked it better when it felt like the whole theatre was mine. About 20 minutes into the film, I noticed someone standing near the top entrance. He wasn't looking for a seat. He was looking around, watching, not scanning the crowd like someone who'd lost a friend, watching like someone choosing. He didn't move for a while. Then he came down slowly and sat near the front, toward the lower level. I stayed where I was, my eyes fixed on the screen, but every few minutes he'd turn to look at me, then turn back, then look again. I had seen enough men like him before. I knew what that was. I waited. I timed it. Every time he turned back to the movie, I moved a little lower in my seat. Then I slid to the floor, pressed my body flat against the grime. Popcorn crumbs, dry soda, old chewing gum. I didn't flinch. I didn't gag. I stayed low and started to crawl. Between the seat gaps, I could still watch him, still see when he was looking. A chase scene started. The sound got louder. I moved faster. I knew how to move with the rhythm. When I got to the steps, I waited again, watched, then bolted up. I was halfway up the aisle before he noticed. When I reached the platform near the theatre's main exit, I turned to see him standing, still below me, but now we were watching each other. If I went down the exit stairs, he could beat me to the bottom. If I went back the way I came, I'd run right into him. So I bluffed. I ran halfway across the platform like I was heading for the other stairs, but just before I reached the end, I ducked. There was a trash bin in the center of the walkway, one of those open-top cans with a swinging lid, mostly used for sodas and popcorn buckets. I lifted the lid, crawled inside, and lowered it back down. Through the slats, I could see the theater in slices. I didn't hear anything for a minute. Then I saw his feet again. He was coming up the stairs. He walked aisle to aisle, peering, pausing. At one point he stood just inches from where I was hiding. Then I heard my name. Faint at first, then again. My mother, calling from the front of the theatre. He turned toward the sound and walked slowly down. I opened the lid, pushed it up hard. He jumped. My mother stood there staring at both of us. I looked at him, she looked at me, then back at him, and again at me. He ran. She climbed the steps slowly, didn't say a word at first. Then she asked, "What the hell are you doing in here?" I said, "I wanted to see Terror Train." She looked at me again, and I think she understood everything I didn't say. She said, "Let's go." As we walked out, she kept looking back. Before we left the building, I asked her, "When can I finish watching it?" She didn't answer. She just held my hand a little tighter